There was a young man named Jack who had a dream. He wanted to be successful, not famous, not rich, just great at something. He admired people who built things, who led others, who had purpose. But there was one problem. Jack had no discipline. Every January, he made a list of goals. Wake up early, work out, read more, stay focused. And every February, those goals were forgotten. He didn't fail because he was lazy. He failed because he waited for motivation to do the work. And that's how most people live. They wait to feel ready. But motivation is like weather. It changes. Discipline, though, is like the sun. It's always there. You just have to rise with it. One day, Jack met an old carpenter named Thomas who lived near his town. Thomas was known for crafting furniture that lasted generations. Jack admired his work and asked, "How do you stay so consistent even after all these years?" Thomas smiled and said, "Because I don't ask myself if I feel like working. I just work." Jack laughed. "But what if you're tired?" Thomas replied, "Then I work tired. Discipline doesn't care how I feel. It only cares what I do." That line stuck with Jack for years. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares what you do. That night, Jack decided to test it. He set his alarm for 5 a.m. He wanted to start running again, something he'd failed at dozens of times before. When the alarm rang, his body screamed no. His mind whispered, "You can start tomorrow." But he remembered Thomas, and he said to himself, "I'll just do the first step." He put on his shoes. Then he stepped outside. Then he started running. It wasn't pretty. He was out of breath, slow, and uncomfortable. But when he finished, something clicked inside him. For the first time, he didn't feel proud of the result. He felt proud of the effort. That's when he realized discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up when you don't want to. So he kept showing up every morning. Rain or shine, no excuses. He stopped negotiating with his mind and started keeping promises to himself. Weeks turned into months, and people started to notice the change. He wasn't just fitter. He was calmer, more confident, more alive. Because discipline doesn't just change your habits, it changes your identity. He learned that self-discipline is a form of self-respect. When you say you'll do something and you actually do it, you build trust in yourself. That's how confidence is born. Not from success, but from consistency. But life, as always, tested him. One morning, Jack's company went through layoffs. He lost his job. All the progress, all the stability, gone in a day. For a week, he felt lost. The old Jack would have stayed in bed, scrolled his phone, and waited for motivation to return. But not this time. He got up early, like always. He kept running. He kept reading. He kept building himself. Because he'd learned that discipline doesn't depend on circumstances. It creates strength to handle them. Months later, he started his own small woodworking business, inspired by Thomas. It wasn't easy. There were long nights, slow sales, moments of doubt. But every time he thought of quitting, he remembered that simple truth. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares what you do. And every day he showed up, even when it hurt. Years passed, and Jack became known in his town, not for being the most talented, but for being the most consistent. His work became trusted, his word became gold, and his dream, the one he once thought impossible, became his reality. People often asked him, "How did you do it? What's the secret?" And he always smiled and said, "I stopped waiting to feel ready. I just started moving." That's the lesson most people miss. You won't always be inspired. You won't always be excited. You won't always want to do the hard things. But discipline means doing it anyway. Discipline is the bridge between intentions and results, between who you are and who you want to be. It's not about punishment or pressure. It's about freedom. Because when you control your actions, your emotions no longer control you. Jack realized something powerful. Discipline is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, even when you don't feel like it. It's saying no to distractions, no to excuses, and yes to your future self. And that's the ultimate reward of discipline: peace. Peace that comes from knowing you're living on your own terms. Peace that comes from trusting yourself to follow through. Years later, Jack visited Thomas again. The old carpenter was still working, slow but steady, shaping a chair with his weathered hands. Jack smiled and said, "You were right, Thomas. Discipline doesn't care how you feel." Thomas looked up, smiled and said, "And that's why it outlasts everything else. Because motivation fades, talent fades, even strength fades. But discipline, real, quiet, consistent discipline, that stays. It carries you when nothing else will." So if you want to change your life, stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting to feel ready. Just start. Do the first step, then the next, and the next. Because greatness doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. And every time you show up, even when no one's watching, even when you don't feel like it, you're building something stronger than motivation. You're building character. And that's the kind of power that never fades.